Hi everyone, welcome to the Liz on Call craft room. Today we are going to be making a shirt using iron-on vinyl, otherwise known as heat transfer vinyl or HTV, and some t-shirts. I am making this one because we love Star Wars, and this is a perfect Star Wars t-shirt, especially if you've ever visited Star Wars land at Walt Disney World or Disneyland. So the first thing you're going to need is your heat transfer vinyl, iron-on vinyl. So let me just tell you a little bit about how you know if the vinyl you're using is iron-on. So you'll notice that iron-on vinyl is usually the same color on both sides. And one side is the super shiny side, and the other side is a little more matte. So this shiny side is actually a plastic coating that protects the vinyl when you go to iron your iron-on vinyl onto your shirt. So just remember that that is what iron-on vinyl looks like. It's got this shiny side, and sometimes it's not always the same color. The blue one is blue on both sides, and the green one is actually white. But if it was adhesive vinyl, it would have paper on the back, which this does not. So this again is our heat transfer vinyl. We know it's got the shiny protective cover, and we are going to be placing that shiny protective cover down onto our mat, and we will mirror image our design so that it will cut it correctly, so that when we go to iron it on, this is the part that actually adheres to our shirt. We lay that down and we can iron it on. I've got all my materials ready to go. I've got some t-shirts for the kids, t-shirts for myself, our iron-on vinyl. Now let's get to designing. For this project, we are going to work in Cricut Design Space. Open up a new canvas in Cricut Design Space, and we are going to upload our image. I actually already have the Got Milk, blue and green milk upload already done, the file for that, but if you're not sure how to upload an image, you click on Upload Image, and then you can browse, or I like to just drag and drop my file here. So then once I do that, my file will be in my recently uploaded images. I'm going to click on the Got Milk file, and we are going to insert the image onto our blank canvas. So here it is. You can see over here on the right hand side our layers panel. This is all grouped together as one. And so at this time, it's a great time to size it to fit on the shirt that you want. Since I'm making some kids shirts, I'm going to actually make it only about 8.5 inches wide. But since they're all selected, all the layers are selected, this is my favorite time to adjust the size on the image. Now, this image has been created as a layered image where you would put the blue iron-on vinyl down first, and then the green, and then you'd put the black on top. Whenever I can, I like to try and slice my images so that I don't have to layer, and that each piece of HTV has its own layer. So it's all one single layer. And to do that, you're going to use a couple of the tools that are on the bottom half of this layers panel. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight everything, and I'm going to ungroup the image, and then I'm going to click on the blue milk and cup and ungroup that image. I'm going to click on the, oh sorry, that was the green. Now I'm going to do the blue and ungroup the blue image, and you can see it kind of put the blue on top of the green, which it doesn't matter. You can make it however you want. I personally like the green on top of the blue, so we are going to highlight those two layers and move them. Actually, I think it's easier to move the blue down to the underneath the green. So we'll move that down. We'll move that down. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're actually going to turn off our blue milk and our green milk so that we can work with just the black outline of the cups. I am going to highlight both by dragging and dropping, or you can click on each layer and use Shift and then click on the other layer again. And I'm going to duplicate these layers. So once I duplicate those, I'm going to move them over here and then come back to my original cups here. Again, I'm going to highlight those and I'm going to click on Slice. So this is going to slice out any part of the images that overlap. I'm going to click on the cup and delete that part. And there's a skinny piece right in here that I'm going to cut out as well. So I'm going to select that and I'm going to delete that. I'm going to do it again. Sometimes it creates two layers of something. So just make sure, especially over here on the layers panel, you can kind of see what results you need to slice out. Okay, as you can see on our layers panel, there's no other areas to slice. But we can fix this by using the contour tool, which is also at the bottom here of our layers panel. So I'm going to click on our contour tool, and this is where you can turn off any of the parts of the image that you don't want to cut. So I'm going to make sure and cut out that part of the cup. So once I have that turned off, I can go back over here, click on my smaller cup, and then I will place it back where it goes. I'm glad I made that copy so I can use that part of my cup. Place it here where it looks right. Delete this extra one, and then I like to highlight the whole thing. Since it's all going to be cut out of black, I like to do that and then weld it together. So those will be cut as one single layer, as you can see now, which will make it a lot easier. Then the next part that I need to do is I'm going to turn on my blue milk, turn on my green milk, and the green milk is actually going to be cutting out part of the blue. So I am going to turn off my black layer here and the black letters and outline and duplicate this layer again. I just like to use the duplicate here at the top of the layers panel. We're going to move that over, highlight these again, and we're going to click Slice, and we're going to try and remove all of these little pieces. Again, we're going to have to click our contour and go down here, and this little piece right here I want to turn off. So then we can take our duplicated green layer and kind of fit it in right there. So now when we go to iron on our shirt, we can iron on our blue layer first, our green layer, and then we'll layer the black on top of that. Just going to move that up so you can see. This one over here we don't need. And that looks pretty good. So now I am ready to make it. I'm going to click Make It over here. I know I've already resized it. It's the size I want. I'm ready to make the shirt. I've got everything cut out that I need. All the slicing done. And the next thing I have to remember to do is click on Mirror, because we put the shiny side of our HTV down onto the cutting mat, and so we need to cut out a mirror copy of our image so that way when we go to iron it on, it'll be the right side. And you'll have to double check this, but I kind of like to go ahead and mark them all a mirror right away so I don't forget, and then I can continue. That's going to select my machine, and then I can select my material. It's connected to my machine now, so I'm going to select Everyday Iron-On. I tend to use a lot of the same kind of materials, so I have Everyday Iron-On as one of my favorites. So I'm going to select that, and I'm going to make sure I have my fine point blade loaded into the machine. My mat hat will have the material on it, and then I will load it into my machine and get ready to go. I'm going to be using the light grip cutting mat. Again, we have our shiny side that we're going to lay down, face down onto our mat. We're going to load, you can see our light blinking over here. Our machine is ready to be loaded. We've already selected our material, and so now we are going to get to cutting. Now that it's done cutting our layer with the letters and the outline of our cups, we go to, is going to cut the green layer next. So the computer will tell us which layer we're cutting next, and so we're going to lay our green shiny side down, and again we're going to make sure we have mirror image clicked on our design space before we cut, so that we have okay, we've got our green HTV ready to go. I'm going to load it into the machine. Make sure that we have mirror image selected on our computer. And there we go. It's ready to go. We'll unload that mat. Set that to the side, and now it's going to cut our blue layer. Face down. And our mirror is selected on the computer, and we're going to go ahead and get this one cut. We're going to take our weeding tool, and this is where we remove any part of the design that we don't need. And I'm actually going to trim this down a little. Just to make it a little easier for myself. And I like to start with the corner area and then remove the majority of it, so then I can actually see the design a little bit better. And one of my favorite things about iron-on vinyl is how easy it weeds. Because we had that, this is that shiny side, it's got a kind of a sticky protective layer, and so it holds the actual design in place as you remove the extra. I'm going to trim this down a little bit more. Okay. Now we're going to weed our blue and green layers. These are going to be really easy. Now that I have my layers weeded, I'm going to place them on the main piece just so that when I go to lay them on the shirt, I know kind of where they need to go and in what order. So the green one, the black writing and outline is going to be the last layer that gets ironed on. The green layer is going to get ironed on in the middle, and the blue layer is actually going to be ironed on first. So I'm going to set that one on like that, so that way when I turn it over, that's what it's going to look like. Now let's get our shirt ready. I've got my Easy Press warming up. So I've got my Easy Press mat that's going to go underneath my shirt, and I have it on a hard surface. I've got my shirt for my daughter here. And while it's warming up, it's not quite at the right temperature yet. I'm just going to warm it up. And then how I find where the middle of the shirt is, I fold my shirt in half, and then I kind of give it a little crease. So then I can see that crease where the middle of the shirt is. I do the same with my design. I try and measure up the edges of the design and give my plastic pieces a mark so that I know where the middle is, and then I line those two marks up to get a good mid shirt mark. And I tend to be like about 2 inches down from the collar of the shirt when I lay these out. Now that I have this laid down, I can't iron it on as it is, or else all the plastic pieces of the other layers will get ironed on in the process. So I am going to remove the green and the black and keep the blue as carefully as I can. Keep the blue in place because I know where I want that to be. So we're gonna take our easy press. I've got it set to 330. And you know, when you do layers like this, you actually don't have to go the full 30 seconds. We're actually probably gonna just do about 10 seconds. Okay, and then we're going to remove the plastic sheet. Just go very slowly to make sure that it stays. Because this is gonna be ironed on, the heat's gonna be on it so many times, you don't want it to be ironed on for the full 30 seconds. So then we're gonna line up. We're gonna let it cool for just a minute so that it doesn't attract our other pieces here. Kind of put this back. Oh no. And we're gonna lay this back down a little bit so we know where this is supposed to go. And then we're gonna get our green piece down, pull up this one, okay, and then we're going to iron this again, but this does not have the protective cover on anymore. So what we can do is just take the piece we pulled off, the protective cover that we've already pulled off, put it back down so that both pieces are covered with the protective sheet. If you don't have that piece anymore, you can always use some butcher paper. Okay, another 10 seconds. Pull that up. And then we're gonna peel up our plastic protective coating again. And now the last layer. And this one is when we're going to actually keep it for the full 30 seconds. I want to make sure to get this on there really good. And luckily this protective sheet covers the entire design, so we should be good to go. All right, there we have it. We're going to start our easy press. All right, it's had its full 30 seconds, but before we pull off that plastic cover, we're going to flip it over to the back side and then iron this on just for 15 seconds this time to make sure we get a really good seal to our shirt with our HTV. Okay. Now that it's been ironed on, we can peel this off. Let's see how it goes here. HTV is a hot peel, which means that you can peel off the plastic while the shirt is still warm. And it looks great. So there you have it.